Hello and welcome. Welcome again today. Today we're getting off of continuing from yesterday about the shaking. So where I last left off yesterday was how hold on, what did I do with it? This is today's topic. We are continuing from yesterday, and this is about the shaking. So where I last left off is at the story that I was telling you that um that you can take heed to as part of understanding what I mean by the shaking. And that was that sometimes when sometimes God gives the woman the authority because the man that's over the household is not really present. He's not there. I mean, his body's there, but he's still not present there. Like he's still not there. So he's kind of like just you have to really understand that part. Like, I'm not saying nothing bad about the situation. What I'm saying is that sometimes when for my case, a long time ago when my son was a baby and a particular person was they still do this to this day. They were smoking at that time and they picked our son up. So now they can't see. They couldn't see what they was doing to our son. They couldn't see that. But in the spirit, I noticed it because the father had shown it to me. And so the father took me through the whole rigmarole or whatever it is. And I had to, uh, I had to basically get in there and take authority. Because again, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't mean at some point when the man is not present that the woman can't take authority. Because God gives the authority to the woman too, but this is not to fight women, those who are on your every word. No, I'm not saying this is to fight against man. This is to be the helpmate that you were supposed to be because of the man not being present. But this also men, it's not to say that it's okay not to be present because you still need to be present. Like you're needed there. You're needed there. Get there. You know, get over in there where you belong. Fight the fight, the fear fight, and get over it. Forgive. Forgive. Stop being an unforgiving and forgive. But most of all, forgive yourself so that you can be present where you need to be. And not just sometimes when you want to be. That's not good. That's not good. But again, we have some breaking good news about the shaking over here. And where I last left off, that's where we continuing it at. And that is with the man and the woman. Sometimes, like for example, of the shaking, you might have to be in the position of authority as a woman for the man because the man is not present. So them being present could look like them arguing all the time, them being angry all the time, but they can be calm and still be in their angry body and talking to you. That's still them not being there. They're talking to you and they may have a viewpoint of who you are and what's the things about you and all that, and they might not like certain things about you, so they come in and they targeting you about the things that they don't like about you instead of being honest. That's what that looks like. The person who cannot tell you what's going on, and they expecting you to know what's going on, and you don't know unless they tell you what it is that they having a problem about. Instead, what it looks like also is that, as I continue the story, that they will go out and sleep with many of the women due to this. The man will. So that makes them even more not present there with you. Okay. That makes them even more not present with you. So now they don't even honor you, or the world say respect you. They don't have none of that. They don't have any of that for you. And matter of fact, they can easily just go to another woman with no problem because they wasn't there with you from the beginning. You understand? But it doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you. It just means that the person cut you short because they wasn't there from the beginning. And they didn't put in the work. They didn't do what is necessary to do to build up what they need to build up inside of them, or not even build up what's already there. Instead, they stirred you up on the outside. It's about uplifting and not stirring. We don't want to stir someone up of their, of their past. What you want to do is you want to uplift the person because you are considered the helpmate. The woman is the helpmate. So when you stir her up, you do know that it's an after effect to that. Like, a lot of people don't even understand that they even doing anything wrong. They just feel like, oh, I'm just doing this and I'm not being honest. I'm not being honest. I'm not telling this person what's really going on with me because I really don't know what's going on with me. And I feel like I'm not doing nothing wrong. So they dishonest with themselves as well. So they really can't be honest with you. So when they see something that they consistently seen in the past, which is what I just said, they go back into the past or something and they won't let that go. They won't forgive. So they consistently look at something, and even the past it don't even have to have started with you. It could have started with another woman that they was with before you, that they can't let that go, that you're doing. And they won't let you know that what it is that you're doing that's irritating them or just getting to them. They won't let you know that. So you don't know what's going on, but yet but yet they're wanting you, the woman, to be honest with them. And they're not even being honest with themselves to, in turn, be honest with you. So it becomes a big old argument and a big problem, and nothing really getting solved. So that causes a shaking. It does. That causes a shaking. And now you got your nagging woman that's in the house. You got the nagging woman that's in the house now because the shaking had occurred. And if the father don't want the nagging woman in the household, why are you then the man causing her to nag? If he don't, do you know that things have an effect? Like, they have an effect. So therefore, if the woman is nagging, then that means something that's in you gotta stop. And maybe she needs to be a little honest with you about what it is that you are doing that could be irritating her, because sometimes you can just have a nagging woman who the nag before they got with you, and they just nagging at you because you're reminding them of something and they're not being honest of what you're reminding them of. Okay, so they in the same boat, the man and the woman, you know, they still in the same boat, but at the same time, at some point, yeah, I gotta come together. Because you are a unit. You're working together. And a lot of men leave the household because of the nagging woman. And that's not what you were meant to do. What you were meant to do was stop doing what you're doing and uplift. Uplift. Don't bring the world to your woman. Don't sit all that in her lap. And it don't matter how that comes. That can come to where you just really heartbroken and you really, really, really in all that heartbreaking moment. And then you sit all that heartbreak on your woman's lap. And now she's forced to deal with all that. And you don't know what the spirit is that's on that. You don't know. And she don't know neither. But if you take your woman, let me tell you, we got some good news over here. If you take your woman and you just pray with her, you pray with her. When she nagging, you feel she nagging because you don't know what it come from or what it could be stemmed from. If you don't know something, go pray. Take her and pray with her. Read the Bible with her. It's something that you're not doing. You need to get that stirred up in the right way so that that woman won't continue to nag. You can't keep blaming her for nagging. Take that woman, take her. Take your authority back. Men, take your authority back. Take that woman. Read a nice chapter with her. And not the one you handpicked it to target her, but pick a good Bible verse for both of y'all because you don't know who needs it. And the both of y'all read that Bible, read the Bible together. Okay? Read the Bible together. And then after you read that, pray. Because you're reading the Bible to get your everything in order, okay? So then after that, you pray. You pray over your household, you and everybody in it, and those who you come in contact with on a day-to-day basis, your friends, family, and everything. And you see, and then you begin to notice what God shows you after that. And whatever he shows you, you take and come forth in the knowing, in the all-knowing, and you humble yourself, okay? And you calmly, if need be, you apologize and let them know what you're apologizing for. Don't just apologize, because apologizing don't mean anything. But telling it to her, and that's called being honest, telling it to her from beginning to end of what you got out of whatever it is that the Father gave to you. Tell her it in a apology. Okay? And that's some breaking good news. Like, tell it to her in an apology. But the apology is not, I apologized. That's it. I apologize. But apologizing for what? You apologizing, but if you apologizing and still saying the same stuff that worked her up and stirred her up to start nagging at you, then you ain't apologized for anything. So when you to stop the shaking, okay, to stop the shaking, you will have to take your woman by the hand, put in the work for her, buying her things and doing different things for her is not going to work at that time, because she's still going to come back and nag, because she's still faced with whatever it is that she's faced with. And we don't know what that could possibly be. So what you want to do is you want to take her by the hand, and you want to take her to where it is a nice little area, and pray with her. If she doesn't want to pray with you, then that's another something. That's another situation, meaning that there's anger there between you two, which also means that it's that shaking. So that means the devil is in the way. So what you want to do is get her right then and there, and don't even touch her. Just get her right then and there. Bring that Bible with you. Read that Bible verse with her or to her. Just read it to her, and then get to praying right there in front of her face. And let her know in authority, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. You understand? Like, let her know in so many ways, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. It's going to work out. But overall, the shaking, it is a cure for it. And it's called getting lined up. Read the Bible and then pray, and consistently do that throughout the day. 3 times a day. Set your life up. Set your life up. Okay? Set it up. Don't let it set up you. Don't let it set you up. Set your life up. Take back your authority by setting your life up and doing the things that you need to do. Do it. It may be, flesh may think it's hard, but spirit is easy. Beloved, spirit is easy. It's very easy. So I just know that shaking that comes, and I'm gonna get back on the topic about, what I was just talking about, pertaining to my son, and how he has had the shaking too. And as a baby, he had the shaking. And a lot of times, like I said, the father will use the woman and put her in authority, because sometimes the male is not present. He not putting in the work, meaning he not going to work, meaning he putting in iniquity, but he's not putting in the work of Jesus. He's not putting the Jesus in him to work. He's not doing it. He's putting in iniquity, meaning he's working, he's stirring that person up, he's shaking them up for to leave her easily, or to impregnate her and then leave her. Okay? He's setting her up for that, because he don't know how to go any further. But they're not able to be present to put in the work, meaning to get lined up, read their Bible, and to also to be able to speak in humility, and as in forgiving the person, and then talking to them as though you don't know them, because you don't know them. That's somebody who's been given to you. And sometimes it's God ordained, and sometimes it's not. And being that it was God ordained for this situation. It was God ordained for this situation. It was like, and when you in God ordained things, it's hard. It makes it not as willing for you to to forget about the love that you have for that person. Like you're still gonna love that person no matter who you move on with, and you're still gonna be with that person no matter who you move on with, because it's gonna be God ordained. Some things is set up by the devil to ruin your life, and when they try to ruin your life, that's going to put a killing to you, and it's going to sprout up in such a way. So, you know, and the killing that they put to you could take you off the face of this earth. It's going to do some damage to you. You don't know that if that's not your God ordained woman, then you're going to go to hell, and she's going to be sending you there. But your God ordained woman, you gotta, if it's something, if it's the woman that you wanted, sometimes you gotta let go of the friends surrounding you for you to talk about your woman to them. Sometimes you just gotta let them go, because they are it could be the beast inside your friend causing you to react. And then it could be a person that you could stir up real good when you talk to them to get them on your side. And then all of a sudden now they are talking the same talk with you. You just stirred up the beast in them. I mean, going around taking souls is not a good thing. This is called taking souls when you do that. And that's not a good thing. It's supposed to be saving souls. Supposed to be saving souls, not taking them. And stirring up people that causes their soul to be lost. But uplifting them, it causes them and their soul to be saved. Now, you're not going to be able to save everybody, but saving that one is a good thing. Just that one who's willing. It's so awesome. But again, back to the story I was saying, of how, and this is just a demonstration. This is just a demonstration to how the Father works sometimes. Like again, my son, he was a little baby, and me and this person, we were living together, excuse me, and my son, he was again, he was a little baby, and in his flesh, it appears like, he doesn't know, but the spirit him does. So I had to take an authority, because it was a shaking on him. So I had to unshake the shake. Okay. I had to unshake the shaking. So what I had to do was I had to pray over my son. And then I read the Bible to him, even as a little baby. And then I started to sing to him. Okay. Because I knew that the spirit him loved my voice. So I would sing to him. And he would come and just smile at me and smile at me. And then that's when I knew that everything was just shaking off of him. Then I knew that, but I still had to do some work with his flesh. I still had to do some work with his flesh, but the Father instantly said that I was going to have to take the shot, okay, for him. And I was ready. I was ready to take the shot. I was ready to take the shot. Like one day this person had to take the shot for me, because that day they were in the spirit, but they didn't know, even though they were They were sober this day. They wasn't smoking any marijuana, and the Father put them in the spirit. So I remember one day I was sick, and they didn't allow me to go to bed at the time that I told them that I had to go to sleep to speak with the Father. Okay, and I'm telling them all that, but they didn't listen to me. So then the sickness that was on me, that actually came from them, the sickness that was on me went back on them. I told them that I had an appointment. I had an appointment to get healed, to get this stuff off me. It was a shaking, a sickness, a shaking on me. So I had an appointment at 10 o'clock. So I had to go to bed like an hour before at 9. And that person was in the room and everything talking to me, and they would not let me go to sleep. And they had Joshua in their hands. And I was telling them that I had to do this, I had to do this. But me not knowing that they wasn't fully into what I was talking about, I didn't know that. Okay. I'm talking to them as though they know. you know. So, and I tend to do that sometimes. But um they had to take the shot for me. And they took the shot. They were sick. They all of a sudden had to be sick or whatever, and they were sick for a little while or whatever, but they got through it because at that time they was fasting from even smoking at that time. Now I don't know if they was fasting because they ain't have no money to get the stuff, to get the weed, but all I know is that they were fasting. They hadn't done no weed. So they were there. They was present at that time. They was present for their household. They wasn't arguing. They wasn't doing nothing. They was just being themselves. And they was more attentive. Like they was talking to me. They was there. Like none other time. Like they was there and they was listening to me. And I was knowing this. Like I knew that they was there at that time. Like, and that brings me to how a person who is not always there and then they there sometimes. Like we got to get in the work of being there all the time. Even if you can't deal with it sometimes, you still got to be there sometime, all the time. Sometimes you might not be able to deal with it, but you still got to be there all the time because that causes the woman to be there too. And it won't be no nagging. It won't be no nagging. It won't be no nagging. But overall, do know that it's all about anyway. Do know that it's all about what you do. If you're shaking somebody, that means you're stirring them up. But if you're unshaking them, because sometimes a shaking can happen, and this is breaking good news. Sometimes a shaking can happen even when you're unshaking the person. But that's different because then they go back and they feel the peace. But if they still shaking and they going all around and they just doing this, they still in a stir. They still in a stir. And it's time to unshake them. So to end that topic, I end that topic with he had to take the shot, okay? Because he was tentative that whole time. He wasn't smoking all that stuff. Because I don't know if he didn't have any money, whatever, but that's a long story. But overall, at that time, he had to take the shot. And he got sick. But one time I had to take a shot for my son. And I got sick. Okay. I've also had to take a shot for my daughter. And I got sick. And she got sick. Sometimes sometimes both can get sick at the same time due to the shaking. The shaking, the stirring up of, can cause both to take the shot because both are aware of what they are doing. They both there. Okay. And sometimes if the other person doesn't want to give them back what they are giving to them, meaning trying to stir them up, that person can be silent. And then now that person, both can take the shot, meaning the child and the mother. And for that case, both me and my daughter took the shot because the spirit didn't come from us. It came from where we were. And it was trying to get my daughter to target me. And I said to the spirit what the Holy Spirit told me to say at that time, because normally I would, at that time, normally I would have been like talking back and forth with her and stuff like that. But this time I took authority and I said, no, we're not doing this today, spirit. And I said that exact thing. And we were sitting there looking on at what was he looking at? We was looking at Sid Rock that day. Okay, we was looking at Sid Rock that day, and we both were just sitting there looking at it. And it was like she sat next to me, and I knew that something was going on, something was on her, and she was about to come forward. And we began to just have, well, she began to have dialogue with me, and I was like, no, we're not doing this today. We're not doing it. Spirit, we're not doing it, spirit. And so I cut it short. And so at that point, both of us took the shot. Both of us took the shot, which is the shaking. Both of us took the shot. And we both got sick. And we did that and that was on us for me for like 2 weeks. Okay. I was there for 2 weeks, but I knew that I had been praying over us, and I had been reading the Bible and everything over everybody at that time. So it was like everything was lined up. We was where we supposed to be present, but the other things was just on our flesh. Okay, so it just happened like that. The shaking, it happens, and a lot of people don't understand that it's a spirit that's on this thing called stirring up of, and it brings a shaking to people. And a lot of us think that, and I want to just say this one thing, and that is that a lot of people think that kids are just being kids, and they ruin these kids by saying that. No, kids got responsibility for themselves. So when you look on at that child, it's not for you to put your body and your hurt and pain on the child. So don't come targeting the child. Pray with that child. Read the Bible with that child. If you don't got a Bible, pray right then and there. Don't go putting whatever's on you on that child. Meaning we don't need none of these rapists out here. We don't need none of these abusers out here hitting and putting the killing to kids, shooting up kids. We don't need all of this. That's just anger, and you stir it up because you don't know what's really going on. So kids, you saying that kids are just kids, it's just robbing them of their true innocence. You putting innocence on them to control them at the time you're controlling them. It's not good. It's not good. You're controlling the children, meaning you're sparing the rod. And now those children are spoiled. And now they think they pride is built up. They and ego come sprouting out. They think, yeah, I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid. Hey, I'm just a kid. I ain't even grown. But yet that same kid will take and put their hands on you. Okay. No, that's not just a kid. That's not just a kid. That is that is a child of the Most High God at every age, even as a little child, a little baby. Okay. So so if you look on at the child in a different way, you won't spoil the child. And the child won't grow up doing the things that they do, and then before long doing it against you, and you not knowing that, dog, this child is doing this against me. And it doesn't mean that it stemmed from you. It's come from somebody else. And then you had to keep it up with the situation by doing it because it just caught you off guard. So you wound up doing it. But then so you might catch yourself babying them, or you might catch yourself just and sometimes you might catch yourself just being stern like a mother's supposed to be. Sometimes you might catch yourself doing that. But you want to be stern all the time as a mother and a father. And and men, just like you don't want the woman talking about you to the child, stop stop giving the children whatever they want to cause the child to be at the woman in such a way like she's nothing. Stop doing that, and make sure that that child is deserving of what they need, and not the saying that they deserve anything, but do not spoil them. We all don't deserve anything. So for those who stayed in on my every word, um and and so mostly I just want to say the shaking stems from fear. Okay. It stems from fear. It is fear. All right. And the body is stressed. That's like a stressed body. So it's almost like you're fornicating with the body. And now the body is stirred up. And even kids go through this shaking. Because as long as anybody is in a body, you go through this fear of another person's body, even your own. You will go through the shaking because you fear your own body. And whatever it is that it's doing, you will fear that. And so now that child, wherever it may be that they got that from school or whatever, so now they bringing it home because that's all they know. Because evil has taught them that. Okay, the evil, the wicked that's inside the others have now become the wicked inside your child, your very own child. And now your very own child that has the shaking is considered wicked. Their body is in the wicked. And they are wicked. That's not just a kid. That is a wicked child. That doesn't mean put harm to that child. What that means is now don't stir up iniquity. That's not what I'm not talking about stirring up iniquity. I'm talking about stirring up God inside your children and inside you. Get in the Bible, read the Bible, pray with your children. Do that. Let the Father take way. That way it could cause you to do less work. All the pressure won't be on that parent. It will be the load of the team now, the team effort, like the children, you, and then if you got the third cord, okay, the third cord, which is the man, then that's even better. The three chord, that's even better. The three chord, Oh my goodness. That's even better. That's even better. So anything can happen. The happening is happening, regardless of if you like it or not. It's happening. But sometimes it can come to pass, but it ain't even got to hit you. It just ride right over you. But we got to stop saying how kids are just kids, because they are not. If they are wicked, they are wicked. We got to at some point be honest with ourselves and be honest with the situation, so that the children can understand that it's time that they learn about growth, instead of them excusing themselves like they ain't doing nothing wrong. Because there's a lot of children out here that feels like they're not doing nothing wrong. And they are. And they are doing it all over their parents. Because this is what the world has taught them. You're not doing nothing, you're just a kid. But it's not correct. Because that same kid can tell you how grown they are in the next minute. If that same child can tell you how grown they are, let me tell you, that ain't just no kid. That's not just a child. I'm sorry. That is now somebody in a body. And you need to take care of the situation. But do not put your iniquities all on a child. You are to uplift, not stir. So again, a lot of children got that shape, like they got that shape where they're known as what the world call them is bad. Like, that little boy is bad. He's bad. And then some people might like it, because they so used to it, and they just don't really want to be bothered with it for real. And they just let it happen. So every child go around her with that same shaking. So they think that that's a child being a child. But that's not true. That's a wicked child right there. That's wicked on top of that child's flesh. It's wickedness on that child. And at that time, you need to pray that off. And as long as they in the school system, that wicked stuff is still going to be on them. And then the longer that they go for years in that wickedness, they're not going to know how to let go of the shaking. So now they teenagers acting like adults. And then when they get adults, they act like they your mama or father. You know what I'm saying? It's just the wickedness has caused them in their mind to switch everything around. And that's not what it is. And like I was saying yesterday, that my son had that same shaking, and I knew I never seen that shaking on him before. But then God was showing me that there were children still in his head, like still in his mind, like where other people wouldn't be able to see that. But the Father was showing me that, so I noticed what he was showing me. And when I noticed, I seen a bunch of kids just sitting on the sides of him like nothing was going on. And he was sitting on the bed, which I know what that means. That means that if you're on the edge of that bed, that means you one step in the bed. And you know what the bed represents. The bed represents adultery, committing adultery. Not only are you fornicating with the body, but you first are committing adultery with the body. And then fornication happens. Once you keep doing it back, you consistently doing it, like you just doing it on and off and on, off and on. You're just fornicating, like you're doing something wrong. But adultery happened first. Like you sit on the edge of that bed and them people just around you friending you. They look like, they look like they're not doing nothing in the spirit. They look like they're not doing nothing. They just being kids. But in reality, that main person that's on that bed is the person you need to get off that bed. Get them off that bed, because they are about to become wicked over time. Soon as they lay in that bed, that's wicked. So pull them up out that bed. Get them off that edge of that bed and get them to walking. Okay. Because sometimes you can be unaware. You can be unaware of what's going on. And the children, they are unaware, but they're not just children. Stop trying to control our children by saying they just children, and get in there and pray and fight. It's a necessity. Okay. So again, I'm your host, Shantae Washington, and today's topic was about the shaking. And as you know, we have some breaking good news over here, some breaking good news. And we still getting off into this freedom from the night, tales of the supernatural. This is all about the supernatural, which is the things that you do not see. Okay, I'm informing it to you, the spirit, because I know the flesh you is not going to understand this. But what you need to know is that I really want to get it to you and get it out at you. So not at you, but get it to you so that you can be able to do what you need to do to pray about it and get it done before it's too late. Okay. And then wickedness takes over you. You don't want that wicked stuff to take over you. You want to come back in with God at his holy gate. Not just a gate, because I'm not just talking about a gate. I'm talking about in at God's holy gating. Okay. So if you hear anybody talking about how everybody it's people going through gates, yeah, they're going through gates, but they are going to the gate of hell. But I'm talking about holy gating. That's a difference. Okay. I'm talking about holy gating. That's what I'm talking about. Hello. And you want to be able to holy gate. And that automatically happens when you come in at the gate, at the holy gate. That automatically happens within you. There's no need to stir it up on the outside by opening up gates into the dust, the dirt, the sun, the moon, the months, worshiping months, and worshiping this and that, different gates opening. I'm not saying that you're supposed to be worshiping these things. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that holy gating is already there for you. It's already a privilege that you have. So you are perfect. And you have to understand how much you are perfect. It says it throughout the whole Bible. Come on now. Read it. But overall, do know that part where you see, and I'm gonna get back on that little topic, that subject just a little bit, just a little bit of it. When you see your children doing that shaking, it's called wickedness. If they are actually can't stop moving, these are signs of it. If they can't stop moving, they're always moving around and they can't be still. Let me tell you, that is the shaking. that child is in the covering of wicked. And if you do any harm or anything to that child, that will go against you. They only will remember what you did because the child is in business with the wicked at that time. They're not going to remember everything they did. They're only going to remember what you did. The child is in the wicked. So you can't do spanking, you can't do none of that. That's not going to help that child. That's only going to fulfill them to be against you later. But what you need to do is calmly, and talk to that child. Talk to them. Tell them what the Father is telling you to say to them. But you first must get in and pray and meditate. You got to get yourself right to sustain, to get this child out of the body of the wicked. They got wicked covering over their body. So you got to get that, you got to really take that thread off of them. So that means you got to really get to getting into the Spirit of God. Like you got to go hard for the child because the wicked has overturned your child. And now your child is in operation of wickedness. Wicked. If that child cannot, sign number one, if that child cannot stop moving, or that child is afraid of the dark. You understand? Because fear don't just come. It's just not there. Fear is there because the shaking has stirred them up in fear. So if your child is fearing, number one, if your child is fearing anything like the dark or another person, I'm telling you, that is clear sign number one. That is number one recognition right there that the wicked is taking place within that child. That child has the shaking, and now you have to perform the surgery in the spirit, okay, to get that child back over to be saved by the Lord. So if that child is talking too much and they won't stop talking, that's the shaking. The shaking, the wicked is on that person. Because you don't know why they talking so much. I mean, yeah, they could be talking so much because of you, but you don't know that evil eye could have been looking on at you when they was a baby. And now they feel like now they know how to talk. So now they going to talk over you. You don't know where the wicked stem from. You understand? Because that's not just a kid, honey. That is a child of the Most High God. And it's time for you to go in as a parent, in on at the gate, the holy gate, so that you can be able to sustain the pressure points that's about to take place from the wickedness on this child. Because you don't know what could have stirred this child up to be at you, against you. Okay, you don't know. Could have been somebody, could have been them, but we're not gonna look on at it like that. But God will show you where it came from. If you go in at the gate, God will show you where it came from. You will know then where it came from. So do know that it's time, children of the Most High God, that we get in and stay there and correct the shaking that has been stirred up on our children from God knows where. We don't know which God it came from. Excuse me. We don't know which God it came from. So we have to get them out of the shaking. We got to get them out of the fear. We got to get them out of the wicked. You understand? Even if you got to send them to the rooms with the Bible and them just looking over the words. Even if you got to do that, because that helped me too as a child. I'm not lying. That helped me too. Just looking on at the words, just looking at it, not really knowing what I'm reading, looking at it still stirred up the spirit in me, even as a child. And me not even knowing how to read. Okay. It still stirred it up. It is still stirring up because that child is not just a child, that is a child of the Most High God. Understand? Before he or she came in to the body, they belong to God. So do know it's time to work that out. Once they come from the womb, even while they in the mother's belly, once they pop in there, it's time to get started. To get them from whatever wickedness that took place in there. Time to let that go. Time to uplift that situation. It's time, beloved. It's time to take our children back. It's time to get back as a family. It's just so much we need to do. It's time to stop being against each other, men and women. It's time to stop. It's time to wake up. And I'm seeing that more and more people are waking up to what's going on out here. And not even out here, they're waking up to the person that they was gifted to be, what God placed in their hand, that gift. They are opening up. They are waking up to the gift that they carry. So now it's just time to take them along the way so that they can further understand what that is. Not to control them, but to allow them to open themselves up to the gift that they was given, placed in their hands. It's time. It's time to see 120-year-old women and men still out there living. It's time. It's time to see our widows married. It's time. It's time. It's time, baby. It's time. It's time. It's time for also to see our children go to war in the spirit for their parents. It's time. It's time. We have been given the ability with the gift in our hands from the Father's right hand as a key target towards whatever it is that the enemy is plotting against us to keep us separated and not coming forth together. It's time. It's time. It's most definitely time. So we need to get it right. We need to get it right. So whenever you see your child talking too much and they won't stop, no matter what you do, they won't stop. That is wicked. That is fear. They won't go to their room. They having nightmares. That is the shaking. That is the wickedness. If they are consistently taking up against what it is that you're talking about, they don't want to hear the wisdom that you have. That is the shaking. That is the wicked. The wicked is on them, and it's time to be united as a family to break generational curses. It's time. It's just time, children of God. These kids, they may be, in your terms, bad, but it's time. It's time to take that shaking off of them and to also take that shaking off of you when it's on you. And it's time for families to reunite again and do it like never before, like you got a mission on this earth for the enemy to know that they not taking us down. This shaking stuff gonna get stirred up in the right way. It's gonna get stirred up in the right way. It's gonna be uplifted, meaning it's gonna get up off of us, get up off of you, get up off of me, get up off of us. So the topic is about the shaking, and the shaking is due to fear, and fear controls the person. And what they will be doing is operating in wickedness because they will not understand what it is that they're doing. They will accept certain things that's not normal, and they will feed on whatever it is wicked in the world. So we have to stop it and take back what belongs to us, which is our family, the man, woman, and the child. Your new family that you created with the person, the one ordained person, and to become one, united in this world. It's time to take it back. It's not just time to go back to the person. It's time to take back what you need to get rid of, and then come together as a family together and bring that, not that wicked stuff, not that wicked. It's time to get that off of you, and then come together as one, united. Not to say that the ordained people can't help those people, because you could be a believer and then the person could be an unbeliever, and then y'all come together, and now it's time for Mission Impossible. And who is the above all the impossibles? God. Now just time for Mission Impossible. And it's gonna be a Mission Impossible. Believe me, it's gonna take a miracle. God is in the miracle making. He loves it because it shows that could nobody have done it but him. And when it be done right, continue to do it right. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't act good. Get good. Do the only good that we have, which this is some breaking good news, which is Jesus. Okay? Jesus, God's Son in us. That's powerful. We have the power right in our hands. Use it for something that you need to use it for. And the shaking again. Nightmares. A person don't want to stop talking about stuff that don't even make sense. And then they could talk in the middle of you doing something, and they just won't let you read, post, do your business. They won't let you do certain things because they're in your way of doing what you're supposed to do. That's wicked. That's the shaking. They gotta shake. They gotta shake. They gotta get stirred up. They gotta do something. So they're gonna come for you because they addicted to you because you too good. You showing too much goodness. No. So now they gotta come for you. They gotta come for you because they gotta get stirred up. That shaking thing they are addict. Okay, that shaking, they are addict. They can't just be like, they got to come for you in some kind of way, shape, or form to get fed. Okay, so in that matter, they cannot live by bread alone. So get that Bible out, hit them with that Bible, hit them with that prayer, telling you it's going to work. And what you need to do behind closed doors is still continue to do the same thing, even when you're not around them. Pray. Get lined up. Pray. Okay? Because the shaking comes through a lot of things. When a person just really just coming at you and got to get fed, because they ain't get fed by stirring somebody else on the outside. Now they get coming at you to stir you up because they ain't get a chance to do them that way. The other person just like being too good and they ain't liking it. They gonna come for you now and they gonna see what you got going on. They gonna try to see stir up an argument, stir up anything just to be on their P's and Q's to continue just to talk, and to out talk you. The stirring up, baby. You gotta nip that in the bud, man. And then it might be a person that said that they don't even want to read the Bible with you. So now you really in trouble with that person because the person don't even want to read the Bible with you. They afraid of different things and all that. And they find excuses to why they don't want to read the Bible with you. And oh boy, you getting it in, baby. They gonna be able to stir you up every time. Every time they're gonna be able to stir you up. So what you gotta do is let get out of it. Sometimes you just gotta get out of it. Because you will get some people that stir you up and they don't like reading the Bible or not like reading the Bible with you. You know what I'm saying? So you want to get out of that because that's a dangerous person. That's dangerous. Because it's nothing that you can do like be yourself. You can't be yourself in that situation. So you got to get out of it. Because they're not allowing you to be yourself. They already told you they don't want to do this with you. They already told you they don't want to do that with you. So the only thing you left with is just to talk with them. And the talking turns on you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to turn on you in the midst of them talking. It's crazy. So now you done balled up. Now they done balled you up in a whole cycle or something, which you didn't even want to get in. And you know that they done told you, hey, I don't want to read the Bible with you. I don't want to do this with you. Now they will in turn pick a time when they want to read it, but but at that time when they doing what they doing, they already saying, no, I don't want to do that. Now, but they don't know that they are in the shake. They shake, so they got to get a response from somewhere since they didn't get it from the other place. But see, they don't know that you know, but yet they will make up excuses and all that different stuff to why they're doing something. But that ain't really what it is, because any other time you know how to shut this stuff down. So therefore, you know how to shut it down now. So be always watching. It's always the shaking. It comes in on you like a flood, and it tries to set you up to where you can't even be yourself. So you gotta be something else. And it's just like, look, I don't got time. I gotta go. Leave me alone. You'll feel like that at some point, you know. But the wicked comes over the children of God. That's just the wicked in operation. That is done through being don't understand that being bored is okay. Okay, being bored is okay. And then they don't, and then a person with the shaking, they don't like it not to be quiet. You have to make noise. That doesn't mean that they won't say, hey, and sometimes they want it quiet. But in reality, they still don't really like it quiet. Even if they have it quiet, that don't mean they like it quiet. Because if they coming for you during the time of being too quiet and they ain't got nothing else to do, then believe me, you're gonna get targeted. So it's just so much. It's just so much to do with the shaking. But overall, take that person, and if you can't do something with them, let them know that if we can't read the Bible together, then we are not talking about other subjects. You just have to cut the subjects off for talking with them, because you can't really talk to them. Okay, you can't talk to that person because that person ain't really listening to you. Even if they sound like they come to get information with you, at sometimes like they might use you for certain things, that's still the shaking. That person still shook up in the shaking, and they don't know it, but they still shook up in that shaking. But even if they come and they talk to you sometime, that's to see where you're at. It's like to pick at you. They don't know it's done like that, but it's almost like to see where you at, to see what you giving them, because they used to feeding off of you, off your wisdom, and then now they got your stuff, and now you like, wow, you did all that to do what? To make yourself bigger than me? You don't stir the person up to make yourself bigger than them. You go and do your own thing. Because while you doing that, I can lose my life. And I'm not trying to lose my life for you or anybody. And that's how you gotta look on at it. Like you can't lose your life for these people. You can't. Because they know how to stir you up. The wicked know how to do everything. They didn't copied off of the wicked. So they know what they're doing. But it takes work to get out of the wicked. It takes work to get out of that. It's iniquity. They like to work up iniquity. They don't like not to work it up. It's just in them. And they can be the most calm person ever, but still be stirred up of the shaking, because they so used to being fed. But anyway, so that was just for continue from yesterday, the shaking. So, children of God, get into your Bible, read it. And that's all I got to say about that. Just read your Bibles. Get to know what's going on. This should cause you to wake up and see what's going on, so that you can better um, do what you need to do in the long run. Because there's a lot of people in the shake out here, especially the ones that look on at fights. That's a shaking too. That's wicked. And you just sitting up there loving it, and you making that, like grown women making their children fight. Come on now. If that's not wicked, that's wicked. All these different wickedness out here in the world that people ain't understanding that that's wicked. That's something that when that person wasn't living in wicked, that they wouldn't even allow to have been done. Like they would have said something. Hey, y'all, just boldly and innocent. The true innocent of themselves would have been like saying something. But being that they in the wickedness, and meaning that they are fearful, because that's what fear causes, wickedness. That causes you to operate in wickedness. And then you not saying nothing. Yes, according to the Bible, you are now wicked. You just keeping that stuff in. No, if God telling you to say something, say it. If God telling you to do something, do it. You can't be afraid of men in their faces. You got to do what you got to do. Get it done. But anyway, it's all around. And Get in the Bible, read it, meditate on the word, get the Father to show you what it is that you need to do. Okay? It's not about coming at that person. It's about you getting you together and then uplifting the person and not basically targeting the person. And you're not going to feel like you're targeting the person, but you are targeting that person. Okay? Because you don't know what's the spirit behind that. So you want to be careful where you're coming from. Don't do that. Humble yourself, meek yourself, bow out of that. We all should be really not gossiping, complaining, and murmuring about stuff. So if a person is even getting you in that type of conversation to complain and murmur and to gossip and stuff, and whatever they come, if they even getting you in that conversation, that's automatic stirring you up. And now they think they know you because they are able to talk to you about that situation like that. So sometimes you just got to cut off the conversation, even if they don't like it. Even if they get mad and say, you don't never listen to me, you don't listen to me. Even if they in their emotions, you got to cut them off. You got to undergo that pity party. You ain't got time to pity them. You need to let them know, hey, this is not about to happen. This is not where I am. This is not who I am. You're not going to put on me who you think I am. You're not going to control me in the way that you're doing it, because I'm going to get self-control. And what I'm telling you is that we're not about to gossip. We're not about to complain. And we're not about to murmur. No, because you don't know how you're doing that out of wickedness. Like you're stirring yourself up. And ain't even nobody stirring you up. You stirring yourself up to stir the person up to make it seem like they stirred you up. So you want to get out of that routine of doing it like that. So anyway, this is your host, Shantae Washington, and I was speaking about the shaking. And again, over here we have some breaking good news for you so that you can just see what's going on with certain things that happens as the Freedom from the Night Tales of the Supernatural. This is done in the Tales of the Supernatural way, because spirit needs to know, it needs to pray. It needs to pray. Go pray, spirit. And excuse me. See you later. Bye-bye.